Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth and help stop tooth decay, and Palmolive Shave Creams for a smoother, more comfortable way to shave, brings you Our Miss Brooks, transcribed.
It's time once again for another comedy episode of Our Miss Brooks, under the direction of Al Lewis. Well, like most school teachers, our Miss Brooks, who teaches English at Madison High School, has been exposed to her share of puppy love.
I'll say I have. It's getting so I can't look a puppy in the face without flinching. But the kids at school are nothing compared to the case I discovered at home between my landlady, Mrs. Davis, and Horace Barlow, the school's new basement custodian. Although she met him a week ago at a school tea, up until Thursday morning at breakfast, she kept denying anything but a passing interest in him.
Connie, please. Just because Horace Barlow has been over a few times is no reason for people to jump to conclusions. My goodness, Horace isn't jumping to any conclusions, you know what I mean?
At his age, Horace is lucky if he can leap to conclusions, but I've set you two together, Mrs. Davis.
As far as I'm concerned, I think of Horace as just a really nice boy.
And he is, too, a real nice 68-year-old boy.
Oh, he happens to be 54, Connie. He told me so himself.
I know, Miss Davis, and Jack Benny is 39. Not that I'm criticizing your friendship. Far from it. I'm delighted that Horace is so genuinely fond of you.
No, Connie. Horace doesn't even know I'm alive.
Well, don't let that worry you. It's hard to tell about him most of the time.
Anyway, Connie, I'm simply not interested in anything but the most casual of relationships. Oh, heavens. If I were thinking seriously, I would try to find out something about the man now, wouldn't I?
Haven't you?
Definitely not. I'm not even mildly curious. I haven't even the slightest idea where he keeps his $10,000 life insurance policy. Nah, I have no knowledge whatsoever of how he got his leg wounded in the Mexican War, for which he got $53 a month pension from the government. I don't even know in what bank he keeps his $2,619 savings account, Connie.
Shame on you. You haven't even got his social security number.
It's 49A265.
Oh, that's Walter Denton. He's taking me to school. Be right there, Walter. Now, is there anything you want me to say to Mr. Barlow for you if I happen to see him at school?
Not a thing, Connie.
Okay.
There's no necessity of even mentioning to him that I'm not at all busy tonight.
I see.
And there's no need for any remarks about the cake that I am baking today being far too big for one person to possibly finish alone, Connie.
I'll be as silent as a tomb.
Above all, it would be utterly shameless if he were to hear that I don't want to waste the box of cigars that I happen to have bought yesterday.
You can trust me implicitly, Miss Davis. I won't say a word to Mr. Barlow. I'll just hit him on the head and drag him home.
Thanks, Connie.
I'm glad you picked me up early this morning, Walter. I've got an errand to do for Miss Davis before my first class.
I'll get you there with the speed of a gazelle, Miss Brooks. Oh, by the way, how's Mrs. Davis's romance with that Mr. Barlow coming along?
Oh, haven't you noticed that too? I think it's the cutest thing in the world. Miss Davis actually has a bad case of puppy love.
It's cute. Considering that she's in her second puppyhood. Now, there's no disrespect intended, you understand? After all, what can be more romantic than two lonely old people encountering grand passion in the sere and yellow leaf of their lives?
Why, that's absolutely poetic, Walter.
Well, the burning desires of youth long past, they look now for the subdued glow of companionship. The warmth and simple pleasures that two elderly people in love can share together.
I can see them now, soaking their feet in the same pen of Epsom salt.
I bet you'd like to find romance at that age, Miss Brooks.
At the rate I'm going now, I'm counting on it. But Walter, I'd just as soon you don't mention the subject at school. It might be a source of embarrassment. for Mr. Barlow.
Oh no, my trap is sealed, Miss Brooks. Now, what's the errand that you're gonna do for Mrs. Davis on this morning?
Well, off the record, I'm going to invite Mr. Barlow over to the house tonight. He's been a little backward about asking for a date.
I get it. You're Mrs. Davis's John Alden. Now all you've got to do is get Mr. Barlow to invite Mr. Boynton over and you'll be all set.
Meeting's adjourned.
Bye, Miss Brooks. If Miss Brooks, oh my God, hi. You're pretty early today, aren't you?
Hello, Harriet. I've got to deliver a message to the custodian. Have you seen him?
Yeah, Miss Barlow and the custodian, the janitor, whatever, went into his office. Isn't he wonderful, Miss Brooks?
I don't know. I've never been in his office.
No, the fact that Mr. Barlow is with Mrs. Davis, they're crazy about each other. Of course, it's a really big secret, so shh.
It couldn't be a bigger secret if they took out an ad.
Oh, is there anything more romantic than the mellow romance of old age?
Now, please, Harriet.
Think of it. Two people finding love at a time when others are preparing to just pass on. Two people walking hand in hand in the twilight of their lives.
Yes, there's nothing like a brisk walk before passing on.
Well, I'm not going to keep you here any longer, Miss Brooks. Far be it from me to delay Mrs. Davis's emissary of love. Good luck in your mission, John Alden. Bye.
Thank you, Priscilla.
Come in.
I hope I'm not disturbing you, Mr. Barlow, but there's something I wanted to ask you.
Well, then go ahead and ask. You want to get apples, you gotta shake the tree. So what is it?
It's just this. I was wondering if tonight, that is, if you haven't any other plans. Miss Davis isn't doing anything, and I'm sure she'd be pleased if you wanted to drop over.
Well, that's right neighborly. Would you like me to drop over, Miss Brooks?
Of course. I'm sure you and Miss Davis will have a lovely evening together.
And are you planning on staying in tonight, Miss Brooks?
I suppose so, Mr. Barlow, but I'm sure that at your age you don't need any chaperone.
You're right about that. Maybe we could send Mrs. Davis to a movie.
Send Miss Davis to a movie?
Oh, yes. Well, there seems to be no sense in my trying to hide it any longer. The only reason I've been coming around Mrs. Davis's place is to be nearer to you.
Near me? But you've been making dates with Miss Davis.
Oh, naturally. You've got to slip the drones a little honey if you want to get next to the queen bee.
You, Mr. Barlow, are barking up the wrong hive. Oh, this is ridiculous. I simply can't believe it's even happening.
I couldn't believe it myself. I just couldn't understand the feeling that swept over me when I first saw you, Miss Brooks. In fact, since that time, I've had my glasses changed twice. But it's still the same. I keep asking myself, where have you been all my life?
For 3/4 of it, I wasn't even born. Look, Mr. Barlow, there's a great difference in our ages.
That's nonsense, Miss Brooks. I don't believe in age.
Well, neither do I. I've been standing it off for years. If you'll think this over a while, you'll realize that it just couldn't work out.
Oh, no, why not, Miss Brooks? Is there somebody else playing the piano in your front parlor?
No, but Mr. Boynton plays the ukulele on my back porch. We've been going together for quite a while now.
You mean that biology fellow? Oh, shucks. He's just an unsophisticated kid compared to me. Why, you couldn't warm him up if you stuck a Bunsen burner underneath him.
You've been peeking. That is, Mr. Boynton's just shy about expressing his feelings.
He ain't got no feelings if you ask me, no. Leastwise, not like I have. Especially since I met you, Miss Brooks. Why, I just knew today was going to bring some excitement into my life, but I've got the strangest sensation right out of breakfast this morning.
Maybe something fell into your gruel.
There's no two ways about it, sis. I'm smitten.
Well, would it unsmit you if I told you I'm engaged to Mr. Boynton?
What? Engaged? But he hasn't even been over to your place, and he wasn't there the night that I visited Mrs. Davis.
Well, he must have been working. If you come over tonight, I'm sure he'll be there.
Ah, seeing is believing, Miss Brooks. I will drop by, but I still say when it comes to your bringing me messages from Mrs. Davis, you should speak for yourself, John Alden.
There's no use talking. These man-tailored suits have got to go.
Colgate Dental Cream cleans your breath. It does so while it cleans your teeth. And the Colgate way stops tooth decay best. Yes, the Colgate way is the most thoroughly proven and accepted home method of oral hygiene known to man. Over 2 years' research showed brushing teeth right away after eating with Colgate Dental Cream helped to stop more decay from more people than ever before reported in dentrifice history. The Colgate way stopped tooth decay best. No other dentrifice, ammoniated or not, offers such conclusive proof. And you should know that Colgate, while not mentioned by name, was the only toothpaste used in the research on tooth decay, which was recently reported in the Reader's Digest. So, always follow the Colgate way to clean your breath while you are also cleaning your teeth. And stop tooth decay best.
Well, I was quite chagrined to find out that Horace Barlow was more interested in me than he was in Miss Davis. This was one triangle I was determined would not be eternal, not even overnight. Therefore, at lunchtime, I headed for Mr. Boynton's table in the cafeteria. But just as I got halfway to it... Oh, Mr. Conklin. Oh, I'm terribly sorry, sir.
You're slipping, Miss Brooks. You only knocked 2 dishes off my tray today.
I guess I didn't watch where I was going.
Obviously. Well, when you do, you'll get the whole tray next time.
Well, luckily nothing happened to your apple pie. The plate is broken, but the pie is intact. Here.
Thank you. Even more luckily, nothing seems to have gotten onto my clothing.
No, sir, I've never seen you look so neat. White carnation and all.
I spoke too soon. That's not a carnation. That's vanilla ice cream.
Oh, this never would have happened, sir, but I'm terribly preoccupied today.
This must be Preoccupied Day at Madison High, then, for I've had nothing but trouble with our new school custodian, a janitor, whatever. For the same reason you mentioned.
You mean Mr. Barlow?
Yes. He forgets about the furnace. He forgets to fix the pipes. The old goat acts as if he was in love or something.
Well, maybe he is in love.
But who could a 70-year-old codger be in love with?
He happens to be 54.
Yes, and Jack Benny's 39. Horace Barlow in love at this age. He probably can't tell the difference between a woman and a kangaroo.
Probably not. Well, if you'll excuse me, I'll be hoping and hopping off to lunch. No doubt I'll run into you later in the day, Mr. Conklin.
Sure. It is what I thought in mind when I would carry every possible form of accident and hospitalization insurance because you're employed here, Miss Brooks. Have a good day.
Good day, Mr. Conklin. He's got a lot of nerve just because a person's lived a few more years than some other person.
I don't like to interrupt you, Miss Brooks, but if you keep talking yourself, you're gonna make an eavesdropper out of me.
I'm sorry, Walter. I've had a little shock this morning. You see, I spoke to Horace Barlow a short time ago about making a date with Miss Davis.
Oh, and what did he say?
He said he wasn't interested in Miss Davis. He's smitten with somebody else.
Somebody else? Well, he can't do that to Mrs. Davis. Oh, no. She's a very sensitive little old lady. And she's just nuts about her, Miss Brooks. She's gonna get terribly, terribly hurt.
Oh, that's what I'm terribly afraid of.
He doesn't know and he's well off. I would like to see the hunk of crow bait that he's fallen for.
Now, just a minute, Walter. It so happens that Mr. Barlow thinks he's in love with me.
With you? Ah, that's illegal, Miss Brooks. That's unthinkable. It's just...
Let's just call it unusual. Actually, Walter, I'm extremely worried about the situation. Miss Davis and I have been friends for too long to let a thing like this come between us.
Well, why don't you just tell Barlow to go peddle his papers elsewhere?
I did, practically. I even told him I was engaged to Mr. Boynton. That's what I'm worried about. They're both coming over tonight, and I've got to prove it.
Well, I think Mr. Boynton will certainly cooperate. What's so tough about all that?
You are?
Sure,
You're sure?
I'm sure he will, just for one night.
Oh.
Now, the next thing you gotta do is get Mrs. Davis out of that house tonight. 'Cause if she catches you and Mr. Boynton acting as if you are engaged, she's gonna know something's rotten in the state of Denmark.
What a sweet way to put it. But, Walter, how do I get Miss Davis out of the house?
That's easy. There's an old bachelor friend staying at the house for a couple of days, Mr. Gordon, and I'm sure he'd like a date with a nice clean-cut character like Mrs. Davis. I'll ask her to go on out with him as a favor to my folks.
What about Mr. Barlow? She expects him tonight.
Well, let's just tell her that he couldn't make it, all right? We could say that his blood pressure hit a new high or something like that. Now, you go call Mr. Boynton, and I'm going to call my mom and ask Mr. Gordon's availability to make sure that he can act as Davis bait for the evening. All right, see you later, Miss Brooks.
All right, Walter, and thanks. Me and the night and the music. Da 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 da. Oh, Mr. Boynton, I've got to talk to you right away.
What's wrong, Miss Brooks?
It's about Miss Davis. You know she's got a crush on the school custodian, Mr. Barlow. But unfortunately, he's head over heels in love with somebody else.
Oh, Miss Brooks, you're making me laugh while I'm drinking coffee. Mr. Barlow's an old man. What kind of a shriveled up old prune could fall for he?
Why does it have to be a prune? For all you know, Mr. Barlow could be crazy about a nice, young, firm, fuzzy peach. Besides, he's only 48.
Well, I believe he's 70 if he's a day. Now, what would you call someone in their prime condition? Hyperthyroidism is apparent, and his incipient arteriosclerosis masking cardiac decompensation was evident to me after just one glance.
It's a good thing you didn't take a second glance. He'd be a goner. The truth is, Mr. Boynton, that Mr. Barlow has been coming to our place just to be near me. Oh,
What?
if I'd known you were going to get so excited, I'd have worn my raincoat. Here, use a napkin.
I'm fine, Miss Brooks. I'm sorry about that. I couldn't help exploding outwardly. You mean to tell me that Mr. Barlow is in love with you?
That's right. We hyperthyroids have to stick together. Look, Mr. Boynton, I know it's an absurd situation, but my only real concern is Miss Davis. I've got to discourage Mr. Barlow once and for all, and you've got to help me.
Well, me? Well, what can I do, Miss Brooks?
Well, he's coming over to our place tonight. I invited him on behalf of Miss Davis. That's when he told me how he felt about me, and that's when I told him something utterly fantastic.
What did you tell him?
That you and I were engaged to be married. Here's the napkin.
Engaged to be married, Miss Brooks? Well, that's utterly fantastic.
I'm glad I said it first. Don't you see, Mr. Boynton, this is very important to someone who's very important to me. Miss Davis is just about the best friend I've got.
Well, if that's the case, Miss Brooks, I guess the least I can do is cooperate.
Will you really, Mr. Boynton?
Well, sure. For one night.
Oh.
Okay, I'm full. You made such a fine dinner, Miss Brooks.
I'm glad you liked it, Mr. Boynton. I opened it all by myself. I hope Mr. Gordon took Miss Davis to a nice place for dinner. He appears to be a jolly old fellow, doesn't he?
Well, yes, indeed. And I've noticed he gave you a pretty thorough once-over when you were introduced. You seem to pack quite a wallop for elderly Joes.
That's me, Cleopatra of the cardiac cases. But I've got to clear away these dishes. Mr. Barlow will be over any minute.
Well, if that's the case, shouldn't we be getting into the mood, Miss Brooks?
The mood?
Yes, we're supposed to be engaged, aren't we?
Oh, Oh, that mood.
Wow.
Why, Mr. Boynton, I can hardly believe my ears.
Why? There's no sense making a chore out of this thing. We might as well have fun doing it.
Fun doing it.
Why, certainly. Let's get started, Miss Brooks.
Get started.
Well, the quicker the better.
Quicker the better.
Of course. Come on, Miss Brooks.
Come on. I mean, come on.
Sure. You wash and I'll dry.
So much for the hopes of Connie Brooks, girl dreamer. Look, Mr. Boynton, working in the kitchen is the very way married people could get into the mood. Engaged couples do their work in the parlor with soft lights.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll take a big basin of water and do the dishes in the parlor.
Sometimes I wish you were ugly. Come on, Mr. Boynton, I'll attend to the dishes later. Let's sit in the living room.
All right, Miss Brooks. It isn't too healthy to commence working too soon after a meal anyway. Well. Oh.
That must be Mr. Barlow. Just make yourself comfortable. I'll let him in.
Here I am, Brooksy. Fit as a fiddle and twice as musical.
Come in, Mr. Barlow.
Well, thank you very much.
I fixed a little dinner this evening for my fiancé. We've just finished eating it. Follow me, won't you?
Your fiance? When you say fiance, do you mean that you actually...
Hello, darling. Do you miss me?
Do I miss you?
I hated to leave you alone for so many seconds, but I just had to let Mr. Barlow in. You remember Mr. Barlow, don't you, dear?
Oh, yeah, of course. How are you, Mr. Barlow? Snappy as a cookie and twice as full of ginger. But let's get to the point. Miss Brooks here told me that you two are engaged. Is that true? Oh, well, yes. Yes, it is. Well, then how come nobody around school has heard anything about this?
Well, because we wanted it that way. We've been secretly engaged for over 6 months now, haven't we, darling?
We certainly have, Miss Brooks. Yes. Miss Brooks, why does he call you Miss Brooks if you're going to get married?
Well, he doesn't like any display of affection in front of company. Let's sit down, shall we?
Oh.
Mr. Barlow, draw up a chair, won't you? And sweetheart, you draw up a chair and we'll sit down.
All right. Miss Brooks, I wanted to tell you that I worked out with the basketball team yesterday, so my knees are feeling a little weak.
It may be a little foul, but I'll never get a shot like this again. Sit down, dear. There we are. Comfy?
Yeah. Seems mighty strange to me. Most engaged folks that I've seen act a little more demonstrative than you do.
Oh, but we're mad for each other, aren't we, darling?
Yeah, I'm mad, sure.
You know, dearie, you haven't kissed me in 5 minutes.
What?
I said you haven't kissed me in 5 minutes. What are we gonna do about that?
Let's wait another 5.
What's the matter, darling? You want to kiss me, don't you?
Oh, maybe it is me and my presence here, Miss Brooks.
No, I'm positive he doesn't want to kiss you. Oh, you mean he doesn't want me to kiss... He doesn't want to kiss me in your presence?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sure that wouldn't stop my great, big, handsome lover boy. Would it, dearest?
Well, certainly not. Why don't you give me your cheek there? There.
Wow. Now, how about one to get me down off the ceiling?
Everyone, perhaps I should go.
But why, Mr. Barlow? You just got here.
I know, but aren't I interrupting something?
Only if you go. I mean, stick around a little while longer.
Goodbye.
I'll see who it is. Don't move, either of you.
Sorry to disturb you, Connie. I forgot my key again.
Miss Davis, what are you doing home so early? Here, let me help you off with your coat and eyeglasses.
Mr. Gordon showed me the most wonderful time, Connie. But he has a business appointment first thing in the morning, so we cut our date a bit short. Hey, who's that in the living room?
That's Mr. Boynton.
Oh, yeah. Who's the man in that other chair there?
That's Mr. Boynton, too. He's awfully restless tonight.
Oh, okay. Now I see who it is. It's Mr. Barlow. But you told me he wasn't coming over here tonight, Connie.
He must have changed his mind. Listen, Miss Davis, when two people have a beautiful friendship, They've got to do everything in their power to keep it from breaking up, right?
Well, let's talk, dear. Okay, I've got to get these shoes off my feet. Mr. Gordon danced my tootsies into a stupor. You know, he's a really wonderful man, Connie. That's what I want you to do. I got you to do a little favor for me, okay?
A favor?
Yes, I need you to do me a favor when we get back into the living room.
What do you want me to do, Miss Davis?
Brush off that other old creep, will ya?
You mean Mr. Barlow?
Yeah, I haven't the heart to hurt his feelings, Connie.
Well, it'll save a lot of explanations, I guess, but I know I'm going to get 2 birds for 1 stone.
What does that mean, Connie?
As soon as the old duck is gone, my little lovebird will take off like a wounded pelican.
Our Miss Brooks returns in just a moment. But first,
The Case of the Close Scrap, featuring John W. Baker, Justice of Peace. Here's what Mr. Baker told us. Listen.
Here's exactly what happened. Shaving just one close scrape after another for me, and then I discovered palm olive lather shave cream, and a new different way to shave. Palm olive's oceans of rich, thick lather ended my worries about scrapes and burns and nicks. Why, even in cold or hard water, that palm olive lather is super smooth and super comfortable.
Take John W. Baker's advice, men. The new palm olive lather gets beards really soft, and it provides a protective film that actually floats your razor's cutting edge. You get a clean, close shave every time, without worry about scraping or nicking, even in cold or hard water. John W. Baker and 1,200 other men tested palm olive lather cream following package directions, and 3 out of 4 reported smoother, more comfortable shaves. The palm olive shave cream, no way. No matter how they shaved before, better yet, palm olive lather shave cream. Remember, even in cold or hard water, the palm olive lather way means smoother, more comfortable shaves.
once again, here is our Miss Brooks.
Well, I told Mr. Barlow that Miss Davis had returned home with a bad headache, and he left the house after threatening to call her up very soon, and, well then, as I was about to barricade the door against Mr. Boynton's next move, he addressed me.
I'm sorry Mrs. Davis doesn't feel well, Miss Brooks. Is she going to lie down in her room now?
Yes, she is, Mr. Boynton.
Well, that just leaves the 2 of us then now, doesn't it?
Yes, but don't be nervous. It's much too early for you to think of leaving.
Oh, I'm not thinking of leaving, Miss Brooks. You and I still have plenty of unfinished business to attend to.
Unfinished business?
Well, certainly.
You and I.
Well, that's right. After all, somebody's got to do the dinner dishes. You want to wash and I'll dry.
Better still, you wash and dry. I'll get another engagement.
Oh, another engagement, Miss Brooks?
Sure, if I hurry, I can catch Mr. Barlow before he gets on the bus.
This is Vern Smith reminding you to tune in next time for another Our Miss Brooks show, brought to you by Palmolive Shave Cream for a smoother, more comfortable way to shave, and Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth to help stop tooth decay.
Our Miss Brooks is produced by Larry Burns, written by Al Lewis, with the music of Wilbur Hatch. Thank you for joining us tonight and every night here at the BBTBC. And that's a good night from me.
This is the National Broadcasting Company.
I guess that's it.